Hey everybody, and welcome back to Out Today and What I Missed on the Heavy Debriefings YouTube channel. This time for March 13th, 2026. We have a ton of great new albums to talk about, with 16 of them. 8 that are out today, 8 that I missed along the way. Let's just get right into it. First up, we have Alkhemia with HÄXEN. After covering their debut album back in 2024, this French black metal band returns with their sophomore album, and astoundingly, they have vastly improved from an already tremendous sound. Everything from this machine has improved, from the excellent songwriting to the spot-on production that is the perfect balance between raw and clean, to the musicianship that just feels tighter and tighter and right where the music should be. If you need an album that is going to channel your inner love of Garia, Emois, Nagelfar, and Durvig Einer Freiheit, make sure you do not miss out on this album. Next up is Deadvoid Inc with Chapters. The debut album from this Finnish Melodeath band channels everything that you love about early 90s through mid-2000s sound of the Melodeath's variety. You can hear the godfathers of the sound with At the Gates, In Flames, Dark Tranquility, etc., but you'll also hear moments of more classical elements of like Children of Bodom, or just the pure melody that you hear on a lot of Amorphous albums, even closer to metalcore elements like Heaven Shall Burn. The production feels like pure 2002 in the best of ways, and the songwriting is endlessly catchy between all 8 songs on display. If you love that classic Melodeath sound, but you want it mixed in just enough with the 21st century sounds, Deadvoid Inc is the band for you. Now we have Messticator with Total Misery. The sophomore album from this German death thrash band feels like a nostalgia trip, but modernized just enough not to sound like a clone in any way. It hits on the best elements of the genre and adds just the right amount of melodic punch when needed to stand out amongst the rest. The production absolutely pounds, making these already great songs sound even better. The songwriting is inspired, and you can feel the true love of death thrash going on between all 11 tracks without 1 second wasted. This is for anyone who loves The Haunted, At the Gates, and New World Depression. When you put this on, I can't imagine you will be disappointed. Here we have Monosphere with Amnesia. 3 albums into this German band's career, and the press release was not lying. This is easily the band's most ambitious album to date, and one of the most ambitious albums I've heard in progressive post-metal in a very long time. Combining the crushing riffs of post-metal in the vein of Cult of Luna and The Ocean, with the progressive tendencies of The Contortionist, and especially a band like Between the Buried and Me, and you have an album that can turn on a dime and hold your attention with every twist and turn. The production on this one is stellar and lets everyone shine through the songwriting, breathing fresh air into the genres represented, but still gives you a familiar feeling. This is a mind-blowing release that goes into the most heartfelt and devastating emotions one can feel. This is a must-listen for any progressive post-metal or progressive post-metal fan. Now we have Monstrosity with Screams from Beneath the Surface. The legendary Floridian death metal band is back with their 7th album, and it crushes everything in its path. Always known for being a pioneering name in the Florida death metal scene, the band continues doing what they do best, creating killer riffs with just the right amount of melody to stand out amongst their peers. Also hearing Ed Webb, formerly of Massacre, doing his debut on this album absolutely slays and adds even more to the band's sound. If you want to hear the best elements of bands like Cannibal Corpse, Death, Malevolent Creation, and Deicide from one of the most underrated and underappreciated Florida death metal bands, you need to hear Monstrosity. Next up is Ravenspell with Obsidian King. The debut album from 3/5 of the Quebec black metal band Beholder is showing off another new form in Ravenspell. This is the band's take on heavy metal and speed metal sounds from yesteryear, and they nail it perfectly. 10 tracks, 40 minutes of pummeling comes in the form of the veins of Iron Maiden, Night Demon, Visigoth, and Cloven Hoof, making everything that just feels sinister enough, but never losing the tightness that makes the genre work. The production is pure 80s in the best of ways, and it's matched up with outstanding musicianship and plenty of headbanging moments. While we're in no shortage of the vintage metal sound, Ravenspell proves that there's lifeblood in the genre is still unalive and can never die. If you need the classic tones, check this out immediately. Next up is Vicious Rain with The Anatomy of Surviving. The sophomore album from the Swiss band is just the right kind of mainstream meets heavy sound that suckers me in every time, and there's no shame in that. For every breakdown, there is a melodic chorus that is undeniably catchy and will get stuck in your head for days on end. The band knows how to explore almost every major heavy genre of the last 30 years, and finds a way to make it palatable for everyone interested. There are as many modern sounds going on here as it is late 90s love, and none of it feels contrived or forced. For anyone who enjoys Elwood Stray, Heart of a Coward, Awake the Dreamer, and Space of Variations, you need to check out Vicious Rain. And finally, for brand new albums out today, we have Wolfbastard with Satanic Scum Punks. It's been a while since I've come across some pure Blackened Crust Punk, and I finally have some in the form of the 4th album from this UK band, and they truly live up to the album title. This feels like it was made by a bunch of Satanic Scum Punks, and I mean that in the best kind of compliment. 11 songs and almost 29.5 minutes of grimy, slimy, crusty music, with the best elements of black metal and punk to make it a fast, thrilling ride that is over before you know it, requiring instant replay. If you want that midnight, Discharge, Venom, and Motorhead sound, Wolfbastard has it nailed down, and I wouldn't want it any other way. And now for everything that I missed along the way, starting with Blackwater Drowning and Obscure Sorrows. The sophomore album from this North Carolina band doubles down on everything that made their debut album killer and explores what is possible in their sound. Feeling like a perfect mix of American Melodeath and American Metalcore, the band hits some of their darkest, most intense moments so far, while still finding the right melodies and harmonies to tie everything together. You can hear everything from The Agonist to Volcandra to Arch Enemy, and especially the Black Dahlia Murder, all rolled into one, but captivating at the same time. Blackwater Drowning knows what works, and they are showcasing it to the best of their ability. If this is even faintly intriguing to you, you need to give this one a proper spin. Next up is Distorted Reflection with Doom Zone. The sophomore album from this Greek epic doom metal band more than lives up to the album title, as it feels like you were put dead center into the doom zone. While the production is more on the raw side, the songwriting, musicianship, and the pure atmosphere makes this a doom metal album that should not be missed. It hits everything that you would want from bands like Manila Road, Crypt Sermon, Beholder, and Sorcerer, and still finds a way to make it uniquely their own. This is an 11-track, almost 39-minute exploration of the heaviest, most captivating aspects of epic doom metal, and it only gets better with every listen. If you need that classic sound, give Distorted Reflection your proper attention. Now we have Final Gasp with New Day Symptoms. The sophomore album from this Boston band is my first taste of their blend of gothic metal and death rock, and all I want is more. This hits both genres perfectly and gets more and more satisfying with every listen. At 10 songs and almost 32.5 minutes long, it doesn't wear out its welcome in the slightest and uses every recorded second to its advantage. Imagine a mix of Unto Others, Tribulation, Ancient Wisdom, and In Solitude, and you have what this band does, and it leaves so much more room for what else could be. There's not much else I can say to really sell you on this one. No matter your type of goth love, you will find something to really truly appreciate about Final Gasp. Now we have Grace Death with Tender Skin, and I really don't know any other way to put it. This is one of the sexiest gothic albums I've ever heard, if not just one of the sexiest albums I've ever heard. The debut album from this Belgian duo puts the best elements of goth, rock, metal, occult, and other tantalizing moments that are meant to lure you in before they go in for the kill. Hearing everything from 2000s Finnish gothic metal, Catatonia, Killing Joke, Sisters of Mercy, and so much more is quite the combination, but it's simply works. The production lets every recorded element shine, and there's at no point does it lose focus throughout all 10 songs in almost 43 minutes. I don't know a better way to put this one. It's a hot album. Next up is Godovir with Artificial Dream. The debut album from Igor Kondovic, I apologize if I got that wrong, is quite the prog metal experience, hitting so much of what I love about bands like Riverside, Opeth, Gojira, and Amorphous, while having a huge influence from Devin Townsend, which you can absolutely hear in Vladimir Lilek's vocal delivery. It just makes anyone who grew up on 2000s through 2010s progressive metal nod their head they're in agreement. Between the excellent musicianship and songwriting, the production is right where it should be, and no matter how heavy, how melodic, how experimental things go, it's always done in a way that's palatable and makes you want to listen time and time again. Do not let this one slip by if you're a 21st century prog metal fan. This has everything that you could want, and so much more. Next up is Machine Supremacy with their self-titled album, and yes, that is pronounced Machine. A breath of fresh air that I didn't know I needed comes in the form of the 10th album from this Swedish band. It's my first foray into the band, and that is quite surprising considering their debut album came back in 2004, but I digress. This is a mix of the catchiest alternative metal, power metal-esque moments, and the occasional video game chiptune Nintendo core elements that make you feel like you're living in this 80s future retro soundtrack at an arcade, while sounding like such an oddball mix on paper, the execution couldn't be more authentic, and it just puts a smile on my face every time that I check it out. If you are of a certain time period and you love arcade culture, this will put a smile on your face from beginning to end. If you dig bands like Syra, Soilwork, Sonata Arctica, and In Flames, this is a band that is more than worthy of your attention. Next up is a band name and album title that I deeply apologize for getting wrong, Misery Luminis with Sedera, one of the most intense atmospheric black metal albums I've come across this year, and that's going to be a really hard one to top. Imagine the atmospheric black metal sound, but with a modern production rather than being as raw as possible, and that's what you get here. It hits the nail on the head for the genre, but they leave so much room for experimentation and genre bending that no matter your love of black metal subgenres, there is something here for you. Hitting everything from Alcest to Garia to Heart Curie for the Sky to the black metal side of Diha, this is a band that will mesmerize you from their proficiency and win you over with their songwriting and musicianship. Seriously, if most atmospheric black metal is too raw for your taste, you need to give this one your proper listen, as I think this one will win you over for the entire genre. It's just that good. And finally today is another band name and album title that I deeply apologize for getting wrong. Rosa Farenskap with Intenging Forbler. Again, deeply apologize for getting all of that wrong. The sophomore album from this innovative Norwegian black metal band is, in their words, a love letter and a declaration of war against everything black metal. Since the genre is being known for so much hatred over the decades, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, it always makes me happy when I can find a band that can turn the genre on its head and make the gatekeepers, bigots, and squares vomit and rage, somehow sounding like a mix of mayhem, converge, and death heaven. This is a band that's not afraid to make the music they want to make and stand up for what they truly believe in. Even if the album sounded atrocious, I would have covered that for that reason alone, but this album is a spectacular display of how innovative black metal still can be to this day. It's just raw enough, it's more than made up for by its intensity. While I know this won't be for everyone, whether it's too raw or experimental, or you're just not into black metal, or you just have those tendencies that I'll never agree with. If you hate this album for what it stands for, you're why this album exists. We need more of this in every genre of music, so if you're so inclined, please check this one out. And there you go, folks, another 16 albums done for Out Today and What I Missed, this time from March 12th, 2026. So what do you think? Did I cover some good stuff? Did I cover some bad stuff? Anything that I left out? Anything that I should be checking out? Please let me know down below. And of course, like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And an important note, I am recording next week's Out Today and What I Missed for March 20th, 2026, as I'm recording this one. So I'm doing this well a week ahead of time because I might be getting my tooth out next week finally, so I just want to be able to relax. So I will be missing a lot of stuff next week. I only have 10 albums, but I hope you tune in. And until then, for the Heavy Debriefings YouTube channel, this is Josh Runquist saying, embrace the skullet.